how to stop jumping to conclusions. To other ladies, listen up, okay? Let me just say there are kids that actually would say things, would teach you things that you didn't know.
Oh my god, here we go again.
Let's go to our African proverb. Our African proverb today is examine what is said, not who is speaking. That's a proverb. Examine what is said and not who is speaking. All right. And that is, the meaning is, too often we miss valuable information simply because we don't like who it is coming from. Focus on the message. Focus on the message because everyone has the ability to teach us something. All right. There's too much there. Okay. So let me say that again. Too often we miss valuable information simply because we don't like who it's coming from. All right. So sometimes because we don't like someone, and because we don't like someone, we just regard everything that they say, whatever they say, we just regard it as bullshit. Like, this nigga don't even know what they're talking about. But I have learned that in the past few years that it doesn't matter if I hate someone, if I don't like someone, and when they talk, I always try my best to pick up like some of the things that they're saying, because sometimes they say some very valuable stuff, but we sometimes, because just the fact that we don't like that person, we turn to just ignore what they're talking about, like ignore the information. Like sometimes, like I don't know, I don't want to be some type of controversial, but there are certain things that Donald Trump would say. I really don't like that dude. He says things sometimes crazy, but there are times when he says things. I'm not going to give you examples. Please don't look for examples. But I know there are certain things that he says that makes a lot of sense, and there are other things that he says that make no sense. So, and I don't like him. So the fact that I don't like him is not going to make me be like, nah, everything that he says is bullshit. Nah, not everything that he says is bullshit. He has some valuable points, and he's also some dipshit. He's also like a big idiot. So yeah, so focus on the message because everyone has the ability to teach us something. Every single person, doesn't matter if it's a kid or an elder or whatever, everyone has the ability to teach us something. All right. There's this thing in Africa that says that parents would say whatever thing. What is it's a proverb actually. It says what an elder can see sitting down. What an elder can see sitting down, a kid can never see even standing, climbing the tallest tree. I mean, if you actually look at it like in a different kind of way of trying to decipher it, it makes a lot of sense. Like, an elder has been on earth for a very long time, and they know things that we don't know. But if you look at it, you look at it like that, there are certain things. It's not all that. There are kids, there are newborn babies. No, not newborn babies. Come on, not that young. But there are kids 10, even 10, and from 10, I think 10, even in their teens, like, there are kids. Let me just say, there are kids that actually would say things, would teach you things that you didn't know. Like, because they have like they have like different experiences, and you've had like a whole different experience. They are coming up like in a different world, and you grew up in a different world, so they can teach you things. There are things that they can teach you that you don't know. So it's always just good to have like an open mind. But in Africa, you talk stupid, you talk crazy to an elder, you act like you're trying to teach an elder, you're gonna get a backhand smack. Pa! You don't talk to an elder anyhow. But that was in the past. I feel like elders nowadays are actually learning that kids can actually teach you. A kid can actually teach you something, especially because most kids are growing up like in this age. Technology is different. Things, especially technology. Technology is different, so they can teach you something. Kids can teach older people things in technology that they don't know. All right, like it's gonna be. I don't know if an older person, a person that was born maybe in the 80s, will be able to use. Who wants to use like the Snapchats, the Instagram will be able to use this, that. But of course, this is like a very basic or very easy, simple thing that I'm talking about. But it's gonna be difficult for for a person born in the 80s to be able to use a phone, a Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook better than a kid that was born maybe in the 90s or 2000s and stuff. They know how to operate those things. They know how to do all those things. So a kid can definitely teach you some things about like in technology, in tech, and all that stuff. So yeah. So yeah, I guess that's it. Focus on the message because everyone has the ability to teach us something. And also, let's look at the proverb for last podcast. It was something very interesting. There was something very interesting that I really wanted to touch, but I couldn't touch it because I was with guests and I really wanted the guests to air their minds on based on what was on the topic. But the topic was only a fool tests the depth of a river with both feet. All right, only a fool tests the depth of a river with both feet. Which means you don't jump straight into a situation without thinking about it first. That's the meaning, right? You don't just jump into a situation without thinking about it first. So don't jump into conclusion without thinking about it first. Don't be impulsive. Don't weigh all the. You have to weigh all the options. You have to weigh all the options first before you take a decision. You don't just go into if something is happening. You just don't just take one decision. Don't hear one side of the story and just jump into conclusion. Don't do that. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting the whole situation. Stop that. Okay. So I would say, ladies, take note. Okay, because jumping into conclusion, I don't know why you guys jump into conclusion so fast. Like you hear one story, you hear like just a piece of a story and jump right into the conclusion without even asking questions, investigating to know what really happened. You don't even need to hear other people's opinions. You just have to see. If you see something, you just jump into conclusions and start acting. That's wrong, ladies. Come on. You are better than this. You are most definitely better than this. Don't do that. All right. So how to stop jumping into conclusions? To other ladies, listen up. Okay, how to stop jumping into conclusions? Check the facts. Okay, check the fact. Check what the facts are. You don't have to just jump into conclusions because you feel like jumping into conclusions. Don't do that. That's hurting everyone. How to stop jumping into conclusions? Check the facts. Start by gathering as much information as you can. I actually did research for this. I'm trying to help you guys, man. I'm trying to help everyone. If you know that you're the person that likes to jump into conclusions all the time, I'm trying to help you. Okay? I'm trying to help you. So listen up. If you are that person that usually just jump into conclusions, you don't need to hear all the other options, all the other people talk. You just when you see something, you just jump into conclusions. Listen up, because this is for you. All right, this is for you. How to stop jumping into conclusion? Let me just give you the points and then I'll explain them later. Check the facts. All right. Number one is check your facts. Check the facts. Challenge your thinking. Ask questions. Take another perspective. All right. Okay. So let's go back. Let's go back to the first one, which that says check the facts. Or let's say how to jump into conclusion. How to stop jumping into conclusion. Check the facts. Start by gathering as much information as you can before you make a judgment or decision. Gather as much information. You guys are not listening. Females, girls, women. Check the facts. Gather as much information as you can before you make your decision. Don't just jump into decision making and take decisions without really gathering facts and doing investigative things. You guys are good with this. I don't know why sometimes you guys just jump into conclusions. You guys are really good at investigating things. But the funniest thing is you guys only investigate after you have taken a decision. After you have already done things, stupid things. So we are saying check the facts. Start by gathering as as much information as you can before you make a judgment or decision. Easy. Number 2, challenge your thinking. If you find yourself making assumptions, actively challenge your conclusions. If you find yourself making assumptions, like you're just assuming things without facts. If you find yourself doing that, challenge your conclusion. Is there another explanation that would also make sense? So ask questions. So look for other things that can also make sense. Don't just gather. So if two people are fighting, and you just come and just pick a side and start fighting the other person, you didn't even get the other person's side. So ask questions, which is the next step. Ask questions before you jump into conclusion about. Ask questions. So that's the next one. Ask questions. So it says before you jump into conclusions about what another person might be thinking, try just asking. Communicate your concerns and gather a direct answer. Communicating your concerns and getting a direct answer can eliminate a lot of confusion. Let me say that all over again. Let me do that again. Say ask questions. Before you jump into conclusions about what another person might be thinking, try just asking. So some people will just assume that someone is thinking bad things, like someone is thinking because you don't feel you're that person that not really agreeing like you should be agreeing. So now you just feel like that person is thinking wrong things about you, and you just assume that this person does not like you. You just assume that this person is talking bad things about you. You just assume that this person is not your friend. So they're saying that instead of doing that, ask questions, right? Just try asking. Communicate your concerns with that person. Say, this is how I feel. This is how I feel like you don't like me. I feel like you talk behind my back. I feel like you really are hating on me for no good reason. So communicate your concerns, and getting a direct answer can eliminate a lot of confusion, or maybe can confirm a lot of your confusion. So yeah, because sometimes someone might say something, someone might deny, say, because I feel like asking questions and getting someone's response, like talking to someone face to face, actually makes sense, because when you're talking to someone face to face, you can actually see from their face, like from their reaction, with their facial reactions, you can actually see if they are right, if they are telling the truth or not. Because sometimes you might know this person, and when you are talking to them, when you're asking them the questions, the way they will be talking to you, it might suggest either they are lying or they are telling the truth. So ask questions, communicate with the person, talk to the person, and then make your decision. It eliminates a lot of confusion. And they're talking about take another perspective. It says think about the situation. Think about the situation from the point of view of an outsider. Think about the situation from the point of view of an outsider. This can also help. Like, remove yourself from the situation. I don't know. Very few people. I feel like very few people have the ability to actually do that. Like, removing themselves from a situation and making a judgment without, even though it concerns them, but making a judgment without them in it, like trying to see from other people's perspectives and stuff. So remove yourself from that perspective and try to see from the other person's perspective and think, and then see if you can make a decision there. So it says take another perspective. Think about the situation from the point of view of an outsider. How might they interpret the situation? What information would they need in order to reach an accurate conclusion? So how might they interpret it? So interpret it in the way that the other person might interpret it and stuff like that. So yeah, just take that. Like, take another perspective. Think in the way that person, another person might think. Don't think in the way that you might think. Think in the way that person might think, and So those are the 4 ways to stop jumping to conclusions. If I think this is actually true, because if you check facts, challenge your thinking, ask questions, take another perspective, you might not just you might stop jumping to conclusions anyhow, because you might see things in a different perspective. You might see things in a different way. So there are strategies. There are strategies these are strategies that you can actually use to help you stop jumping to conclusions carelessly. Like getting the fact, challenging your assumptions, asking questions, and shifting your perspective can also help, like, things like that. So that's what I really that's what that is. Like, stop jumping to conclusions and all that stuff. And yeah. So that was the explanation for that was the deep diving. That was a deep diving into only fools only fools test the depth. Only a fool. Oh, English thing is crazy. Only a fool would test the depth of a river with both feet. Like, you can't just jump into the river with both feet. You first start with 1 feet, or even just take a stick, break a stick, and you put it in there, and you test the depth of it and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. But yeah, okay.